Okay, let's go.
Hello there, Chick Chatters. We're back with Teen Mom episode 10, and we're going to start this one off with Mackenzie. Mackenzie is opening her gym. She's really excited. Her dad does come in to be a part of that and be with the kids for his regular visits. She was so funny in the car because she's trying to practice her speech, and her dad's like, don't say and she's just like, for a solid, I don't know, probably like 5 minutes. Like, she did not know what to do.
She had no other words other than that very first sentence. Thank you all for coming here, blah, blah, blah. Which is a good thing she practiced because I'm sure she thought of more things. But then we saw her actually give the speech. And unless they cut a bunch of it out, then she just said that. And then she introduced the mayor, which is fine.
It's really beautiful to see Mackenzie living out her dreams.
I'm really glad that we're following her again. I say this almost every time we talk about Mackenzie, but I was so annoyed for her to come back. And she's one of my favorites to watch.
Yeah, she's really been flourishing since she's left Josh and moved to Florida and all that. I felt so sad for her when she was talking about how she told her mom that she wanted to open a gym one day, and she used to say that since she was little, and now she's doing it and her mom's not here, but her mom is with her. I truly think her mom set her up for all of this, and I truly think her mom sent her this man because how is he just amazing.
I love how they still talk. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't, but they just still talk so much about her mom. Her dad does. When Kaz pulled him aside for the big part of their scene and asked for her hand in marriage, his smile was so big. And one of the first things that came out of his mouth was that he wishes that Mackenzie's mom was there because she would be beaming and so excited to see this. It's so bittersweet, but it's exciting more so. Watching her pass was really hard. I think that's part of the reason that I'm avoidant of Mackenzie, but her story is becoming happier now. She's doing a lot better. And I love that she said that Kaz's love reminds her of her mom's love. That's the sweetest.
I about teared up when she started talking about that. That's why I feel like Kaz is really sent to her by her mom. He doesn't completely fill that void, but he does make it easier for her to move on in life. You can still get that love from somebody else. It's not going to be the same ever because you're always going to miss your mom. I couldn't even imagine, but it's just so heartwarming to see her scenes. But I do think that Kaz is just like a gift from her mom. You've been through so much. Here's this wonderful man that's going to treat you right and be good to your kids. And I think that she does see all of that where she is.
I think it's so cool that Kaz is there to support her as well, because she really is walking into quite a lot, the life that she lives. She's filming on TV. She has her kids and they need some structure. She has kind of a chaotic home life with the kiddos, and now she has this gym. So I think it's just really cool that Kaz has just stepped right into all that, and he seems so excited for all of it. It's wild.
When he was asking the dad for permission, just the way this man melted, he was just like, are you kidding?
Which is why I'm still so annoyed that he didn't just have the ring, because he would have been so excited to see that ring. It's everyone's idea, I guess, of how you want to do it. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. But I just feel like he should have just bought it. Of course, her dad's going to say yes. So just buy the ring and then you're ready. Because now he's telling her dad soon, and he's over here got to keep a secret. And now he's got to come all the way back to see the thing happen.
Yeah. So I think in the next episode or whatever, then pretty soon here he's going to do it because he wants to do it while the dad is around. And honestly, her dad is just not going to be able to keep that to himself. He was so excited. His toothless smile. Like, I don't know if he's actually missing teeth or not, but
he has one tooth that he's missing for sure. I don't think it's a gap. I think it's a missing tooth.
Yeah, because he was like,
he's so cute.
He's adorable.
He reminds me a little bit of my dad. He's just quiet but excited but super supportive. I don't know. He's the cutest thing ever. When he was struggling too with his mental health a couple seasons ago, that was so hard to watch. It almost brings me to tears just thinking of him. He's just the sweetest man, and he must be really still feeling that loss. I mean, the whole family is still grieving a lot, so sad.
He's so cute. Even though he can't really match his outfits very well, he's very cute. He's very cute.
Like, I just want to give him a hug.
As took that moment to pull him to the side. They were worried about Mackenzie seeing them gone for too long, because she will put two and two together. This girl's been waiting for a ring.
We all thought it was going to happen at their little dinner. That had to have been months ago.
Yeah, she's sitting there like
waiting. It's just crazy. Why didn't this happen then?
Yeah, I think you're right though that he should have definitely got that ring because you do risk not being able to get that ring or at least not getting it when you want it. So I don't know why he didn't just get it. He knew that man was gonna say yes. That man looks at him with the most loving eyes every time he even talks to him.
More than Mackenzie does.
Yeah, and he said a beautiful thing. You're the kind of guy I want for all of my daughters. So duh.
He almost didn't even say it. I think he thought that it was a given. I almost wonder if the producers were like, you have to say you give your blessing. Because he was just like, oh, well, when?
I love him and Mackenzie's relationship too. It was funny when they were talking about the gym and stuff. She was telling her dad what was going to be going on. And then she's like, yeah, so you're going to come with me tomorrow. I got some work for me. This man went from a smile to a
work. He's like, where's the kids?
Oh, they're in school.
Like, I came 3 hours too early.
I come here for work. Hopefully we see Kaz proposing soon. I'm sure it's coming. We're going to move on to Leah and the girls is.
PSA.
They had a whole PSA this episode. It was interesting. I'm glad to see kids actually be proactive in this thing. I'm not sure how much of it is Leah driven or if it's really up to them. It seems like at least the Leah's pretty passionate about this kind of stuff. Yeah. They got to meet up with the representative, which I do kind of think that this is an MTV kind of privilege. I don't think just any kid is going to be able to go meet one-on-one with their representative at any time, anywhere. Maybe a phone call, but...
A phone call probably is more realistic. But, I mean, you should be able to. That's literally their job, is to represent you and to meet with people. But that doesn't mean that it happens all the time or that they're always available for that. So, yeah, I do think the fact that it happened so quickly probably was a little perk of being a child on TV. But hey, use your perks to do good things, right? Like, let's talk to the state representatives. We're always making fun of Leah, and I love making fun of Leah for her little PSAs, but I think this was good. This was being a good human. It's teaching our kids how to be good humans, how to educate their friends, and I think it's very wholesome and important.
But basically, during their little representative meeting, all I got out of that was, well, maybe you guys need to learn about the law because I can't really help you here.
She said it in such a diplomatic way. She's a great politician. But yes, she pretty much explained to them exactly how the law trickles down, that federally comprehensive sex education is something that's mandated, but that the states, it's up to them to decide how much, and then each county and individual school board decides exactly what the curriculum is as well. So I think that also gives them a pathway of exactly where to start. They might want to talk to their school board and then maybe talk about doing something school-wide, but they did end up with a good idea by the end of the episode. They were doing little care packages for all the students at their school for people who might not be able to have sanitary products, or that is definitely an age too where something like that could happen at school for the first time and you might not have anything. So I really thought that that was a great idea because it also opens up a conversation in the bathroom with girls about what happens. And I think it's really healthy because Leah told the girls she didn't even know what was happening to her the first time that happened. And I could not imagine.
That happened to me too.
Oh my God. Was it terrible?
And I just remember like it was like 6th grade or something, and I was wearing khakis, mind you, but I got home from school and I went to the bathroom and my khakis it looked like a massacre.
Oh no.
And I was like, what is this? What's going on? Am I dying? I went to my mom and I was like, well, I got to show you something. And I kind of knew what a period was, but I didn't really understand like that was going to happen. And it looked real bad. And I wondered if I bled through my pants. I had no idea at school. I would hope that a teacher would have pulled me to the side. But yeah, I ruined those pants completely. I was so shaken up by it. I thought I was dying or something was happening to me. Luckily, I did at least know what a period was. But
sure, you knew something was going to happen. You just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, I just thought I had more time. I thought by being physically active that I was going to prolong it. So I used to do like push-ups and jumping jacks in my room.
was waiting for that thing, like praying at night, like can't wait to start, because you're innocent. You have no idea what you're trying to sign up for. Who wants to sign up for once a month to have to go through all of that? I don't know, but I was ecstatic to get my first period.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was like doing everything I could to fight it off. I found out my cousin didn't start till she was 16, and I figured that's because she was in sports and so active. So I started doing push-ups, jumping, all types of stuff in my room to try to make sure that I stayed active enough to where that it wouldn't happen. But within a few months, like, yeah. I was shook though by that little car conversation where the teacher would not let Leah go to the bathroom.
I was shook, but also not surprised. I feel like I've heard stories like that before. It's not okay to do that, especially it sounded like this was a female teacher.
A woman. And she's saying, no, I'm going to bleed out. I need to go to the bathroom. Leah was like, you should have called me. I would have called the office. And that is something you could do. But like she said in the moment, she's like, I'm not thinking about that. I was trying to go to the bathroom.
You shouldn't have to do that. I'm sure teenagers are not always using their bathroom passes appropriately. But when somebody is really looking like they're in an urgent situation, and you can tell when somebody looks scared or anxious or embarrassed, you should not have people being humiliated at school about things that happen in their body, especially girls in their periods, because people are so mean. Everyone's going to talk about that if she were to have blood everywhere.
And literally the moment Aaliyah said to her, no, this is an emergency, she shouldn't have even had to explain any more than that. The female should have just been like, just go, come right back. Like, what is she really going to miss in the 5 minutes that she goes and changes?
Do you want to SHIT your pants at school? If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom. Flus happen, stomach bugs happen, all this stuff. You don't know what the person is going through. Again, I can appreciate that, especially teenagers are using their bathroom hall passes in the right way. But if somebody is alarmed or about to walk out the door anyways, I don't think that that's should be automatically considered defiance. That's probably somebody who's in a real situation. And if you had to go to the bathroom that bad, would you want someone standing in your way, risking you having to either bleed or go to the bathroom on yourself? Just stop it. It's such a weird power as a teacher.
I felt that was so strange. I feel like a male teacher would just been like, all right, go once he hears the word period, because they're done. They don't want to hear it. I remember one time I was at work and I started my period and I went up to my male manager and I had nothing on me. I asked all the other girls. Nobody had anything because most of these women were in their menopause stage. So, and I lived only 5 minutes away at the time. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, this is really embarrassing, but I kind of need to stop home so I can change. And he's like, why? And I said, well, I started my period. And he's like, you don't have to come back. Just come back tomorrow. And I was like, really? He did not want nothing to do with it. He did not even want to see me again the rest of the day. He was like, just go home and you can just stay there. And I was like, I mean, I can come right back. He's like, no, we're fine. We're fine. You're going to be done in a couple hours anyway. You just go.
That's so funny. It is embarrassing, though, to have to go to somebody else and tell them about your bodily situation. It's not fun to have to discuss. I don't understand why anyone would ever give someone a hard time.
I'm annoyed with that teacher. And in fact, if I was Leah or whatever, I'd be making a big stink about it because that's totally inappropriate. And the fact that this girl had to explain herself in front of a class filled with probably half boys. Yeah. But she was brave enough to do it herself.
It to her mom in the car, screaming like, you can see Addie next to her. She's just like drinking a pop, like watching her.
Addie was cracking me up because when they were even doing the little care packages, they were trying to show Addie like what tampon does, and she's just sitting there like,
I wish someone would have showed that to me, because my mom had me fully prepared as to what was going to happen and how it was all going to happen, but I never saw a tampon until I needed one, and that was horrific. Hated that experience. Hated it. And I'd never saw it in a bottle. So I didn't actually know what it was even doing. It was traumatic.
When they were making those care packages, I was like, y'all are being real generous. They put like 16 pads in there.
They were filling them up.
I was like, how much supplies you guys got? Has Leah got a stock house somewhere of this stuff?
I knew how expensive that stuff was, and then now they're going to go buy it, which I think it's great. It's going to be enough for the whole year, probably.
Leah's going to have to work an extra serving shift to cover that, because that was a lot going in those bags. Do maybe 2 or 3, like maybe to get through the day or something. Especially, like, I understand helping people.
That's like a whole month, 2 month supply having twins right there.
Yeah. And if I was a girl going in that bathroom, even if I didn't need it, I'd be like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just thought about that. Being a mom and then a mom of twins, and then you're all needing sanitary products. That's got to get expensive. Like, that's like a second diaper phase. It's just crazy.
That must be quite expensive. And girls were making cookies, and Leah decides to start judging them for eating them all at once. I'm like, there's 3 kids here, and there's 12 cookies. They're going to eat them all at one sitting.
3 or 4 a piece. It's no big deal.
And Allie calls her out, like, so when you're on your period, you don't get hungry? Yeah, I thought so. And I'm laughing because I'm like, wow, all these girls are synced up.
They are.
Because, I mean, Aaliyah's talking about her period. Allie's talking about her being on hers now. So I'm like, wow, you guys really are, like, synced up. Everybody in the Leah's house need pee pads.
Hey, and some cookies.
Yeah, don't shame these girls for having a cookie. They did a whole PSA this episode. They did your kind of work.
Several. They've done the work of public servants. And
they were thin, tiny cookies. I would have ate all those in one sitting just by myself.
The episode starts off with Leah applauding herself for being Superwoman, for changing batteries and this and that. And it's like, your kids just went and met with state representatives. They stuffed some care packages, and they're on their periods, which is probably one of the first couple times they're on their periods. So let the girls have cookies.
You wouldn't catch me doing all that on my period, even as a 30-year-old.
Not right there with those blankets right there, tucked in, watching that right there.
I might be eating the cookies, but you won't be seeing me doing care packages and eating with my state representative and making a whole movement in class. I think that's really what their focus should be right now, is to get the whole period thing situated in the classroom and all that. There should be some kind of safe word, or I don't know.
A clear problem presented itself to them. So I think this is a good place for them to start their little advocacy work and then keep it going. I do think what was cool about them meeting with the state rep, even though they didn't have a super productive meeting, I think they did get a lot of encouragement from her and just meeting her. So I think those things are cool because they'll probably remember that for a while, and maybe one of them will run for office.
I could see it. With the coaching that Leah's been doing with these kids, one of them's going to do something like that. They have to.
Life coaching is evident. They're great girls, too. I mean, she's not doing anything wrong. It's just all we see.
She's just very prepared them, which is much better than just letting things play out, because Leah's already raised all these kids. I don't need to be raising their kids. Let's not repeat some mistakes. I got to commend her on that, because I'm sure that in her house, you know, she didn't even know what a period was. She's definitely breaking them cycles here.
She did a great job with the girlses.
But from one advocacy work to another, we have Jade and Sean meeting up with Cheyenne and Zach. And that's basically...
It's like so crazy, because probably a year ago, or even more so 2 years ago, we would have never thought that Jade and Sean were going to be giving Cheyenne and Zach occupational advice, financial advice, marriage advice. And here we are. So it's kind of starts off with Cheyenne talking in the little chat, venting about Zach and his fireman career and all that. Get it together, sir. All she's asking for is for you to find a job with benefits.
And it doesn't have to be a fireman. I don't know why he's so stuck on that when it doesn't seem like he's passionate about it. He's just picked something and he's going with it.
No, and being a fireman is really hard work. You do have good benefits. You do have a good pension, but that's because it's really hard work. And you are exposing yourself to carcinogens. You have higher likelihoods of all kinds of health problems. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They try to protect you. They pay for cancer screening, you know, all of that. But it's a really difficult job. You have to have somewhat of a passion for it, more so than just, I'm trying to pay my bills and get benefits, because it's going to be a really hard job, especially being an EMT in LA. I know here in Michigan, you have to be an EMT for several months, 3 to 6 months, before you can start going through the firefighter program and all of that. And they had mentioned that, I think Cheyenne's stepdad sounds like he was a firefighter and is retired, or kind of knows the process or something, but it sounds like a similar process, and I could not imagine being an EMT in LA, and I don't think Zach's cut out for it. I just don't.
No, this man barely gets out of bed, and he says he's so stressed out and in his head, and I get that, but if you know that, why aren't you seeking out some kind of therapy or something for that? And he is a felon. I love when Cheyenne was like, my friend's a felon.
We're wound that like 2 or 3 times, because Jade's all like, what do you mean going between what you love and what you got to do? What's he, a felon? My friend is a felon.
Jade's just like, oh. No. So Cheyenne is upset with Zach for not taking any type of initiative, even though she went to a whole fertility doctor and everything. And apparently it seems like Cheyenne's come around to the idea of having another child. She just wants Zach to get it together. And Zach in that one scene was like, well, I can't financially bring in another child now. After all that begging, he's like, yeah, I can't financially do it.
You talked her all the way into it. You showed some initiative so that she decided, okay, I'm going to wrap my mind around having another baby. And if we're going to do it, we have to do it soon. And now you're just same old Zach doing nothing.
Yeah.
I could see him being a motivated guy if he could get over his mental blocks. It seems like he's telling everyone he's up all night, anxious, can't sleep, and then he sleeps all day. And that's a thing. But go to therapy. Do something.
You got to do something. You got small kids, and they need to see their dad working. They need to see their dad doing more than just being a little sugar baby gigolo. At the same time, though, I can't feel too bad for Cheyenne about it because Zach's been like this for a long time. And she keeps rewarding him by marrying him, bringing him into this house. And man hasn't had to work. Man hasn't had to have a single thought, really. He's just been like your little prop for a while ever since Corey got, Taylor pregnant. But, you know what I mean? But... I did think it was nice to see the little crossover with Jade because really their situations were so similar, and it's nice for Zach to see Sean come out the other side. Sean was a great therapist for him. When the girls went to the bathroom, they actually showed that conversation, and I thought that was really nice because I think all this time Zach's been vibing with Sean because they've been one and the same. He's like, oh, you're a sugar baby, I'm a sugar baby. We could be sugar babies
Your wife
together.
is pushy, my wife is pushy.
Yeah, so they were like bonding over that. But now seeing Sean in his home inspector thing and knowing that he actually likes it, even though it was Jade's idea, he's doing well with it. He added on extra certs. He seems really excited by it. And I feel really happy for Sean because, like Jade was saying, this man wanted to be a producer DJ. That ain't realistic. Just like I don't think being a fireman is realistic for Zach and his qualifications and for his being a felon. Well, you're going to wait another year just so he can expunge his record? No, get some kind of job now. Just like Cheyenne's dad was saying, I used to clean toilets. There ain't no problem in that.
Yeah.
If there wasn't this MTV money and Cheyenne didn't have any money, you would have to work. You have children that need food, clothes.
Your family is not waiting. You're going to have to figure something out. And if you have the luxury of really not having to work, then why are you not in therapy? You should be in therapy twice a week, trying to figure out how to get your head straight, how to clear your mind so that you can figure out something that you love. But in the meantime, just start working somewhere. Just go somewhere and work. Go sell cars. Like, I don't know if felons can do that.
This is like a good example of maybe not making dumb decisions when you're a kid or younger, because it can bite you in the ass. He's like, I feel like it's biting me in the ass and it's biting you in the ass. And it's like, yes, it is. But you also don't need to have that hinder you. You can get jobs doing something. I mean, your ex, he's got felons and all types of stuff, but he still finds jobs, even if they're not great. Like,
I hope he has a felony. Should look that up.
He's been in and out of jail.
No.
There's a way. Even felons can get work, especially if it's not violent type of felony. They'll take into consideration what the felony is a lot of the times. If you got like a charge, I don't know, that might be more difficult, especially if you're gypsy.
So that hire felons. Like there's actual places that only hire felons. It's not beautiful, high paying work, but you're probably going to get some benefits at least. And that's literally all Cheyenne is asking for. You don't even need to bring this woman home a paycheck or pay for a mortgage or anything. She wants you to find a way to get benefits because they probably pay a lot in insurance because nobody there has employment through anything. So they're probably paying for private insurance. And with how much money Cheyenne is probably making through her businesses and social media and Teen Mom, probably paying a lot of money for 2 adults and
kids. And if you add another one, that's another addition there. They're not going to qualify for Medicaid or any type of.
No, I know for me, I have to get insurance through the marketplace and I don't qualify for any help. And it's expensive just for one human who doesn't have any health issues.
Even if Zach can't get the benefits, if he could even help pay for the benefits that they're already buying outright. Let's say your job doesn't have great benefits.
Paycheck that just contributes to that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And you don't even have to work full time or anything, but just do something. There's something. I mean, like you said, this man should be selling cars or something, and I'm sure that they would hire him. I just feel like there's another route other than this firefighter route, because he's got to go through a bunch of other things, like being an EMT. And who knows if Zach wants to do anything medical. I don't see him doing anything like that. It's just
That's a lot of pressure, especially for somebody who has so much anxiety and stuff right now. He really needs to get his head straight, I feel like, before he takes a big step in any direction, because once he does get his head straight, he might feel completely differently. I think Zach can show up well. He's a smooth talker. He is intelligent. He seems to learn fast. He makes friends easily. He gets along with people. There's a lot of skills. You can go out there and just ask for a job. It's going to be harder because you're a felon, but you can go out and talk to people and put yourself in front of people and ask, give me a couple of months. I'll sell 3 boats and then we can be friends. I don't know. I just feel like he's not trying. He needs to try harder, or he needs to go to therapy to figure out why he's not trying harder. And that's essentially the conversation that him and Sean had. He was like, well, how did you get your head clear? And how did you figure all that out? And he's like, therapy. I went to therapy. Now I know how to make big adult decisions.
Yeah, and he said it just makes me a lot less stressed out when things happen too. And you could see that even when Jade was like, maybe you should do this. He was like, okay. Like, Sean is pretty much chill with everything right now. For the most part. Even Chloe letting out those dogs, he was upset, but he was like, don't do it again. He stepped up a lot. And I think that Jade being there and helping push him, because Jade's always been on his ass. So I think that Cheyenne also needs to get on Zach's ass. I know that he thinks it's her being his mom. And man, that coach really put that in his head, huh? That's like his new excuse.
He twisted that around that way, because I know that the coach was saying, yes, Cheyenne needs to give you a little bit of space, but that doesn't mean that it's not a partnership, a marriage, a wifely, husbandly thing to do, to talk about securing your future. That's not a mom-son conversation. That is a wife-husband conversation. What you need to do is show up as a husband and not as a little boy. That's what that coach was trying to say. Yep. You need to show up to Cheyenne as a husband, ready to partake in these conversations, not shutting down and saying, oh, you're babying me. She's not. She's saying, I need you to be my partner. I hate that he twisted that around and he's trying to use that against Cheyenne, because the more he shuts down, the more Cheyenne is going to start freaking out and telling him he needs to do more and more. He's really got to untwist that in his brain and just show up as the husband, because he's showing up as a little boy. That's what she was trying to say. You look at her like a little boy. You need to look at her like, I'm your partner. I'm here to support our family together.
She's just saying regular concerns that a normal wife would say. It doesn't really matter.
Nobody's mom is coming to them saying, how are we going to get insurance to cover our children? Nobody's mom is saying that to them. Their wife is saying that to them. Stop twisting that around and making this Cheyenne's fault because she's concerned about adult things because she married you. That part really triggered me about Zach, because he puts on this front almost like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm just struggling and I just need help. And you want to have hope for him and believe in him. And then he turns around and he twists the stuff around on Cheyenne. Oh, you just need to leave me alone and I'll figure it out. You haven't figured it out. And like Cheyenne's dad said, the family is not waiting. Cheyenne is not waiting. Everybody is growing. People need clothes. People need diapers. People need health insurance. And yet you want to bring a whole nother baby into this just to look at somebody who has your DNA. You are selfish AF.
Yeah. And her dad was like, the leading 2 things for divorce are actual relations and finances. If you can't even communicate with your partner about that, especially when you're like, oh, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to figure it out. Just like Jade said, time is the biggest thief, right? So if you're going to keep pushing it off till tomorrow, it's never going to get done. You're always going to be stressed out and in your mind and in your head. You keep saying like, I'm so in my head. And it's like, well, your kids are not in your head. They're definitely real physical beings out here that need health insurance and clothes and all types of things. You got to get out of your head.
Especially if you want to more life.
In your head.
Yeah, sing him some Cranberry.
They are fighting fires.
So Zach is having a hard time. I don't want to be this Debbie Downer. I still have hope for Zach, but I kind of feel bad for Cheyenne, even though she did know about all of this. It must be really frustrating to see that she was in the same position as Jade and Sean, and Sean took all the right steps to figure it out, and they're really getting there. And I wonder if she's just sitting there thinking, I wonder if Zach is ever going to be capable of getting this together. And that must be such a scary feeling.
That's what I'm wondering, and I'm on the outside of it. I see that there's hope for him if he wants to actually try. But this man has been given the world and hasn't had to really lift a finger. And it's kind of been like that for him for a while. He's got some charges and he's trying to get him expunged. I get trying to get that done, but he's still on probation. So why would he think he could get his charges expunged right now?
I think he just doesn't want to address it at all. This is an assumption based off of the little pieces that we see, but it sounds to me like he hasn't even really looked for a job much or applied for much of anything because he's scared of that question. Do you have a felony on your record? He doesn't even want to talk to anyone about it. And you're going to have to figure out a way to accept that part of your life. I know that you think it's whooping your ass and all that stuff and you're not proud of it. Well, that's good. Start talking about it there then. I'm not proud of it. Yeah. I've grown from it, blah, blah, blah. If I could be given a chance, then I'm going to be, whatever it is that you need me to be. It's not that hard to talk to somebody about a redemption story. Everybody loves an underdog. Just go put yourself in front of somebody.
Shoot, you've put your family through a lot by being a felon, right? They've been shot at. Yeah. And Cheyenne's been through the ringer with this. I think the least you can do is try to go out there and get some kind of job, whether it's McDonald's or whether it's Walmart or whatever you got to do for the moment. I know it's probably not what you're thinking. And I don't even understand this whole firefighter thing. I'll never understand why Zach wants to be a firefighter. I think the only reason he's even considering it is because Cheyenne's stepdad must have been one. So he sees maybe the fact that he's able to support and whatever, because I just don't see this man going in and putting out a fire. He can't even have a conversation without getting upset.
Unless he's some kind of adrenaline junkie, maybe, that we missed out on. Maybe that's something that he has some interest in. But other than that, I don't see him. I don't know.
I feel like that's more Corey's lane. If Corey was like, I'm going to be a fighter, I'd be like, I could see that because that's man's insane.
Part-time challenge, part-time firefighter. That's right up Corey's alley. Yeah.
Yeah. But Zach, I'm like, just go sell some cars. Why can't you be a salesman?
Or a marketing person or some kind of customer relations, something. He's got good social skills. He makes friends quick. All that stuff you can tell about him.
He was allegedly a scammer for so long. You could definitely sell some stuff.
Yeah, use your skills to your advantage now. You don't have to go find new skills. You just got to use them in a legal way. You got skills.
I guess we're going to see what happens. I really hope he gets a fire under his butt before it's too late because Cheyenne's looking pretty fed up. And Cheyenne doesn't have a regular job either, but she is making money off her podcast. She's making money off of this for now. And eventually, though, she might have to do the same thing once all this comes to an end.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with this because they're married and they're building a life together. But I think that's why she's trying to push him in that direction, especially if he's asking for more kids. She's going to need to be available for the next 3 to 5 years for her kids in a pretty big capacity. A lot of people try not to work a full-time job when you're raising kids, at least if you're in a 2-income household, if that's possible. I think it just makes sense for Zach, but I think that that's also part of the reason too why she's pushing him rather than trying to get her own thing situated, because she probably has still a couple years to make money off of this stuff, and then she can probably figure that out. But you're right. I mean, if they weren't together or Zach never gets it together, it is going to be on her. There's only 2. I think you have to wait 5 years for it to be expunged. I don't know how long ago his felony was. It seems like he can't expunge anything while he's in an active case, which makes sense. So maybe once that happens, if his felony was 5 years ago, maybe he could get it expunged. But I think you have to wait a little bit.
But just do something temporary for the moment. There's options.
Or if anything, just go to intensive therapy so you're ready to do something. He's talking about only the end of the year. That can't be that far away for them.
I'm pretty frustrated with him myself, so I can't even imagine being Cheyenne trying to have conversations with him, and he's just always defensive. Part of me wonders if he even wants to do anything, because it seems like he's almost content living like a little gigolo. So I guess we'll see with Zach.
Yeah, the way he looked at Cheyenne when she was like, well, I'm confused. Are you going to sign up or not? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to sign up. What? She's like, because that's what the least believable thing you've ever said. The way he said, it's just, it's hard to see him really doing much of anything right now.
And then because he had to repeat himself 3 times, he's annoyed. And I'm like, how many times has this woman probably had to repeat herself to you to make sure a simple task gets done? Because I know in my house, I have to repeat myself several times.
How many times has she had to ask him this question? Probably. It seems like it's been 3 or 4 episodes have gone by since he decided he was going to do this. And so I'm sure she's asked him several. He just needs to sign up. He's scared of getting rejected signing up because he has a felony. But I bet you could re-sign up when your shit's expunged. Just start there. Get rejected if you get rejected. And now you're not going to sit there all day saying, oh, I'm going to sign up. Now you know you need to do something else. Just do something.
Even with rejection, at least you know where to go from there, or you at least have a blueprint of what you got to get done and why. I feel like he's embarrassed about all this, but at the same time,
that's part of taking accountability, is having to deal with the consequences of what you've done. And I feel for him that his past is whooping his arse, like he said, but he did things that are going to have consequences.
And that's just life. For the meantime, you just got to find something that works for you and Cheyenne, so this way you can get out of that house for a few hours a day and do something. I hope that conversation with Sean really did help him. And I think it did, because he immediately is trying to get his stuff expunged. Like, he's making up meat. He's trying to have meetings with the fathers. And yeah. So at least he's been making moves. I think that inspired
all those dads too, because I think that's a really good support system, and they are really pushing him in a healthy way. Even then, all those men are sitting up in their chairs, talking, saying their experience, and Zach's just like, yeah, oh no, man, you gotta get some confidence. Like, go talk to a therapist. You're not that bad. You live in Calabasas. You have a beautiful house. You have a beautiful wife. You have a beautiful family. Show up to it. It's already here. Just come on.
Cheyenne's dad cracked me up when they were all sitting there, because they were talking about her stepdad's pension, and her dad looks at her stepdad and was like, I was going to borrow some money from you, actually. Dad. He's just so funny to me, or he says something either really funny or really real.
Like he said about the toilets, even. I know that people say that a lot. You can do whatever, but he's like, the toilet's paid good. I think sometimes people think about jobs like that, and they think that they're also not well-paying jobs. But those kind of trash men, he should go be a trash man. That's way less training, and they get paid.
Yeah, it'd be garbage, man. I had to just throw it in the thing. I'm sure there's more grossness to it, but if you want to be a fireman, you're going to be coming home sweaty and gross anyways. And
you're inhaling smoke.
I don't even think he's thought about any of that kind of stuff. I just think he's, seen Cheyenne's stepdad's pension or whatever and was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could get that.
You have benefits, right? Okay.
I feel like Zach's the kind of guy that should have joined the military like 10 years ago. So at least he had some kind of purpose or something, because that's what a lot of people do. Anyways, that's that for episode 10.
Yeah, so next we have Jade's mom, I think, is going to actually go to jail for one of her charges this time, which she seems like one of those people who have 9 lives. Every time they show up to a court date, they get let off or something. So it looks like she might actually go to jail this time. Taylor is still not a wife. She has things to say to Cheyenne about that. Allie doesn't want to use her wheelchair. And Roxanne is back from treatment, and she looks like a pile of trash and says that she does not feel good. So I don't know how this worked out for her. This looks like a spicy one coming up. I'm excited to see it. It's already out, but I haven't watched it yet. So
Me neither.
I'm excited. I want to see what's going on with Roxanne.
Missed her. I've been waiting for an outburst for a while.
So we got Jade's mom acting up. We got Bree's mom acting up. It looks like this is going to be the episode of moms. Moms is moms. Your mama's mom.
I wonder how long they're going to let us wait for Amber's reaction to all this crap. I feel like it's going to be like the last episode or something. Like, they really...
I do think that myself as well, because they are not filming Amber a lot, which is fine with me. But I think this is probably her only last scene, is her finding out and having her moment. And then they're probably going to end the season on their weird little song, and she's probably going to be crying. And
speaking of weird little songs, they ended episode 10 on the weirdest song ever. I miss your body. And I'm like, after listening to all this stuff about the girls' periods and all that, I miss you, I miss your body. And then they're showing all the kids and stuff. And I'm like, are we good?
I think it was
so strange.
I remembered, because I watched it twice, and both times I'm like, this is an interesting song. I think it was supposed to be like in relation to Cheyenne and Zach, but yeah, they always do the little montage of everybody. And yeah, it was all like, do you miss me? Or I miss your body, or whatever.
And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything right now, MTV? You could have chose any song, even just an instrumental. Why do we got to hear somebody singing about missing people in their bodies, especially after this whole PSA with the girls is? Like, this is so strange. I was so taken back by that stupid song.
It was weird. You are right. Thanks for joining us once again, and we'll be back to talk about the next episode next time.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna. Goodbye.
Subscribe, comment, share, like.
Yep, that too.
Goodbye.